When Jim Rex decided not to run for this position again, instead run for governor, I did step back. And Ann and I talked about this. And by the way, I'm always supposed to introduce Ann, even if Don has already been introduced. Like that. And I stepped back and looked at that opening and thought, to run for this would be a terrible financial decision. It's not a logical career move at this point in life. But at a more fundamental level, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. Because here was this opening where it was almost as though I had prepared to do this particular position. And at this point in my career was in a position to do the most good for the people of South Carolina, for public education, than at any other point in my life, and probably 4 years from now. Why do I say that? Well, for one thing, as you all know, I had this great opportunity to serve with Dick Riley in the U.S. Department of Education. Ann and I are both from Oconee County. You all may know I'm a graduate of Seneca High School. Ann is of Walhalla High School. And believe it or not, I was your United States Deputy Secretary of Education, which still is shocking to me that here we are from Seneca through this path of life. Somehow I was in the Supt cabinet. But still, I was the Deputy Secretary, and in that role, and Dick's Chief of Staff, in those roles, I had the unique opportunity for that period when Dick was such a well-respected education leader, to work on every major education policy issue of our time at that time, all the way from early childhood to graduate school, to paying for college, to reducing class size, to the issue of a changing student population with immigration, all the great issues we worked on. And then when I was the Deputy Secretary, I was the Chief Operating Officer of a multi-billion-dollar cabinet agency. It's a little hard to believe too, isn't it? But it's true. So I had that unique experience in working on education issues. But in addition to that, if you think about the arc of people's careers, and has heard me say this many times, but that was about 8 years ago. The people who worked for us at the U.S. Department of Education, and the people we worked with in non-governmental organizations and universities and states and elsewhere in the national government, if you think of how their careers progressed, they are now running all the major national organizations that deal with education, whether it's the National Department, major foundations, various organizations that deal with teaching and learning or higher education. And so what that means is, as if I were to be South Carolina's Chief State School Officer, which is what your superintendent is, I know all the people who are making these major decisions are involved in many of these major funding and policy issues at the national level on a first-name basis or on one person removed. That's something that usually takes years for a Chief State School Officer to develop, and I have it immediately. And then Rita Paul was here earlier. We've had all these great experiences working here in South Carolina, starting First Steps, working with Education Foundation in Greenville, starting a high school graduation initiative. Through the help of Don, I served as a trustee of Voorhees College, one of our historical private black colleges in Denmark. And that gives you a totally different perspective on education and working on helping non-traditional students get a college degree or a graduate degree at our university center, where our average student is a woman working full-time over the age of 30. So that whole range of experience, both in state government, local school district, national government, from the local PTA and junior high to Chief Operating Officer of the National Department, and then to be able to be in a position where there's not going to be any new resources we know at the state level in education for a number of years. Maybe it's 2 years, maybe more. The new resources will be coming from the national level, either the national government or the national foundations or corporations, and I'll be in a position, I think, to at least help South Carolina compete for those funds. So when I saw that, I thought, what a great opportunity to make a difference. Some people call it, I think James came in, is that right? Some people call it a thankless job, and it is in one sense that you get blamed immediately once you take it for anything bad happening. But at a more fundamental level, as Don was referring to, it's a most thankful job because there is no more important institution of the American democracy than our system of public education. And to have the opportunity in one's life to contribute materially to it, whether as an assistant principal as you're doing, or I hope in my situation as your state superintendent, what greater joy or opportunity could you possibly have? And by some fluke of human existence and the way things have developed in our lives, I have the opportunity and the skills and the experience to do that, James. So for that reason, and that fundamental reason alone, that's why we have taken on this task. It is a hard task to run for statewide office, and it cannot be done without the help of people like you all in this room. It takes money, it takes networking, it takes stamina, it takes encouragement and morale boosting, it takes advice and direction, and that's all those things that you all bring and give generously. I have been on the receiving end of so many of these requests in the past, supporting candidates and helping them, and now I'm on the other side of that, and it's a challenge. But it's well worth it because, as David knows, that's what you have to do to have the opportunity to serve. So without your help, it's impossible. And so thank you all for being here, and thank you for helping me have the opportunity to commit a significant amount of my life, our lives, to improving public education. And that really means improving our entire community. Amen. In the most fundamental way for South Carolina. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Normally you don't answer questions in a situation like this because people have had something to drink. But
hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you.